Morning everyone, welcome to Inspired Carping. Something a little bit different today. Down for a day session at Coomewood Fishery in Ashford in Kent. So I've been doing quite a lot of carp fishing, as you know, this year, and I've had over 110 carp. Over 100 of those were done without a blank, using the Palatrax product. I've been thinking about my fishing over the winter this year. I'm going to do a few things a little bit differently. I'm going to go back to my roots and do some of the things I used to do as a kid. And today I wanted to show that you can hopefully catch some carp on the quiver tip. And part of this video is also to show that I know carp fishing can be extremely expensive. Once you bought the bivvy, the rods, the reels, the line, all your baits, and all the other paraphernalia, alarms and stuff that goes with it, it comes to be quite expensive. Well, today's setup, I've got a landing net from Argos for a tenner. It's a collapsible landing net, and it should be big enough for I think the carp go into their teens in here. It should be big enough for those. A couple of rod rests cost about 14 quid, and the rod itself costs £39. So by the time we put all the bait and the travelling, you know, for less than £100, I'm now fishing a quiver tip for carp. As I say, I'm down at Coomewood Fishery in Ashford. It's a day ticket water. You can fish nights as long as you pre-book. You can fish this match lake overnight as well if you want to pre-book. But for today's session, just the one rod is £10, and if you had two rods, it's £15. So that doesn't even break the bank. As I say, I'm down here just to do a little bit of quiver tipping, a little bit of whip floating, and see what we can get out. I've started off with Palatrax product on the bottom, so I'm running the gamma line through to a 1 ounce stone that's currently wrapped in the crave paste with some micro pellet mixed in with a cut down 18mm multi-worm squab on a size 8 LQ rig. I've used size 8 for the minute because there are some bigger carp in here, sort of go into their teens, which is what I'm going to target first. But I've brought a whip rod with me today, already set up behind me, so if I don't get into the carp, I'm going to have a pleasurable afternoon just on the whip and see if I can get anything out, maybe just a bunch of small stuff. Alex, the owner, he's been around already this morning. He's been kind enough to lend me a keep net for me to put in whatever I catch. Obviously, if there's any of the bigger carp come out, I will just get him on the video or take a photograph, and we will get them straight back. But any of the small stuff I can put in the net, and we can show a little bit later on how the day's gone. Facilities here are really good for if you want to come down here as a family, which I think we might see a few families down here today. It's quite a nice day, and I think it's half term. But there's toilets on site. There's also a little kitchen area where there's a microwave and a kettle, so you don't need to bring all your own water. You can grab water from the kitchen area. If you was here doing a night session, you can heat up a ready meal in the microwave, as long as you keep it all nice, clean and tidy. But Alex has really put in some good facilities for the anglers here. There are 3 lakes on the complex, one right down the bottom of the hill, which is a sort of an exclusive lake. There's one just across the way, which I'll take you around later, which is a predator lake, so it's got carp and catfishing. And then this one is the match lake, which does hold a head of carp, as I said, but also the usual silvers, and I believe he's restocked it with tench this year as well, and apparently they're growing on nicely. So I'm here for the day. I'll start off with a quiver and then move on to the whip, and we'll see how we get on. So the bait I'm going to be using today is all Palatrax, apart from obviously what you can see there being maggots, caster, and a little bit of sweet corn. The rest of it is Palatrax product, so I've got the 3mm Palatrax pellet that I've just soaked in some water. I've got the crave paste to wrap round the cut down squabs. I might cut down these a little bit further because they are still quite large, I think, for the fish that's out there. So I've got crave squabs, multi-worm squabs, sweet corn, I've got maggot and caster as well to use on the whip later. I've got a bit of crave glug and some couple of sprays. So I've got the crave booster spray and the wild crab to give a go as well. Had a couple of pulls already, but I've missed both of them, so I'm clearly out of practice. Take a look at the rig that I'm using. So it is with just the crave paste wrapped around the stone, as I would usually do. I normally use the method mix when I'm over on my normal lake, or even here. And then I've got just some damp 3mm pellet, which is the 3mm carp pellet from Palatrax. And all I do is press them into the ball of paste. Hopefully you can see that. And then it's just a cut down 18mm crave squab on a size 8 wide gate grips. I tied myself. This lovely mirror carp, which I wasn't expecting to come through as this big. What I love about the grips hooks, he takes a little push. So just give you a bit of an update. I switched my tip rod over to the right hand side by a small island, and within 15 minutes you saw the result on the mat. Unfortunately, schoolboy error, unhooked it too close to the water and it decided to go back before it wanted to have its photograph taken. But that just goes to show that you can catch decent carp out of this lake. I mean, that was bigger than I expected it to be. Only just about fitted in the match landing net that I bought yesterday, so if they're any bigger than that in here, then we might have a little bit of a problem today. I started to use the whip, just about to get it set up and sorted, and then that sort of went off. So I'm going to persevere with this for another hour or so, see if I can entice another carp out of that, or just around that island, and hopefully this time we'll get a decent photo of it. That's if I get one. But I'm happy I caught one today. As I say, I haven't done this for 20 years, so I wasn't expecting miracles today, as it was a bit of a practice session. But it proves that the wrapped stone with the cut down squab works in here. So I'm really happy with that. But we'll have a go on the whip later, just for an hour or so, just to, I'll probably bring this quiver tip in and just have a bit of a play around, see if I can get any of the skimmers or roach. Apparently there's gudgeon in here, and I haven't seen a gudgeon in years. So if there's gudgeon in here, that'd be quite, I know they're only tiny, for the carp fishermen out there, they won't be interested, but if there are any sort of match anglers watching today, take a trip down to Coomewood. If you're in Kent, and it's in the Ashford area, it's just outside of Ashford, take a trip down to Coomewood. This is a cracking little lake. Alex is a wonderful guy. I've met him 3 or 4 times now, and he's quite happy to give advice. What I do like about this venue is they teach children how to fish, which I know a lot of lakes don't allow children on their lakes. But Alex has a fishing school for under 16s. I think the adults can join as well if they want a bit of coaching. I think it's a guy that fishes for quarter, it may be, but he comes down and gives lessons and does sort of Q&A sessions, I think, here. He also runs a forest school out of here for some youngsters. And he's really into the sort of the water quality and the safety of his fish. I'm definitely pleased with that first carp. It was totally different catching him on a 10-foot quiver tip rod compared to my usual 2 3/4 pound test curve carp rods. So actually, if that's the only one today, I've enjoyed myself. This has been quite good fun. Thankfully, Pellet, the friendly goose, and he is friendly, you can stroke him, has decided to go across the other side of the lake. I'm the only actual one on this lake today. It's a lovely day. I mean, it's a little bit overcast now, but it's been out really sunny. But I'm the only one fishing it today. I've got, I could move if I wanted to. I've come with very little gear, but I've had that carp just off of that island. So I'm hoping for a couple more. As soon as said than done. Oh, as this is going to be. I don't know what it is. Might be a tench. No, oh, a small one. Nice little fish in this lake. Try and just view this one. Beautiful. They're all common. Hopefully you can see that. I will try and zoom in on the video. Beautiful. Second one of the day. This one did have a little bit of a thrash around. I often catch him, but beautiful. I'm currently sitting in peg 6, Coomewood, near the far end. I'm pretty much the last swim on the left hand side as you drive in, and then just as you go around the lake, as I say, I'm the only one on the lake today. 2 carp caught so far. I'm really pleased about, considering I thought today could have been quite a difficult day for me, bearing in mind I've not done this type of fishing before. Well, say before, for about 20 years. Talking to Alex earlier, the carp in here do go to around £20, so they are upper doubles. The one I had earlier was probably around £12, and then the small sort of 5 or 6 pounder after that. No point in, I don't think there's any point in weighing them today, unless I get one of the upper doubles. This is the match lake, as he calls it, and I do know that he's had some good matches on here over the course of this year. I know there's been some weights recorded of over £100. So it's a decent match lake. I mean, I'm predominantly trying to catch the carp today rather than the silvers and the roach and the apparent gudgeon. But as I say, we'll have a little go on the whip probably around about 3 o'clock, just for an hour or so. See if I can get any of the smaller stuff out. That's lit. Lift your feet up. Well done. So that's Pellet, the local goose. He's very friendly, and he's learned to pick his feet up as he goes over your line, so that's really helpful. Thought I was going to have to do something there. He used to have a friend called Boyley, but unfortunately she passed away this year. That was a fully white goose, so he's flying solo at the minute. He's already come round and helped himself to some of my sweet corn, so I've had to put all the lids on all my pots. He did a stealth attack as I was playing that last fish. I think he's quite used to the anglers being around here. One other guy's turned up, but he's gone on to the predator lake at the back, which I will take a wander around later and do a little bit of a video just to show you the predator lake. It's not a huge lake, but it's got some big fish in it. I think the catfish go to £43, and there's upper 20s in the carp. And I know that because I've had one of the 20s, which is, I think it was around 23, 22, 23 pounds. And I know there's been bigger ones come out other than that. While I'm waiting for my next bite, hopefully. Don't know what's been going on because obviously I haven't posted on YouTube for a little while. So, as you know, I like my Palatrax product, hence the clothing and the bait that we're using today. And I was fortunate enough to meet Simon Pomeroy, the owner of Palatrax, and we got talking, and he's got an idea of launching a new magazine called Angling's Future, and he's asked me to become the editor, which I've agreed. And we're currently underway in the background getting ready to launch our first issue. So I've been quite busy doing that sort of thing for the last couple of months. However, I will be doing some more content. I've spoken to Alex down here. I've asked him if I can do a full night session on this match lake using the Palatrax iBite system. So I'll have to get some sleep during the day because I'm actually going to stay up for the full night using the iBite in a couple of weeks' time probably, and just see what happens overnight in this match lake. I know what goes on over there because I've fished it a couple of times now on the bite alarms, and it's pretty decent fishing over on the predator lake. However, we are getting into winter now, and it doesn't feel like it today. I could probably take the jumper off, even though it's a sort of late October. But no, so I'm going to come down here in a couple of weeks to a full night session using a couple of the iBite floats that you can get from Palatrax. Well, I was going to go then, but yeah, so that's my reason for my absence on my YouTube channel. But as I say, there'll be a few more videos coming up online over the next few months as we get into doing a little bit more different fishing for me. I mean, I've picking up a float rod, so going back on the float rod on the quiver tip. As I say, I'm going to do a bit on the whip later, which I'm going to put on this video just to, I know it's only tiddler bashing for the carp anglers out there, but it's something else to do really whilst the winter months come and the carp become a little bit more difficult. Sometimes it's nice just to get some fish on the bank, whether that's skimmer bream or tench or anything really. And I've got it in my head today that I actually want to catch a gudgeon, because I haven't caught a gudgeon for, well, the best part of probably 40 years. I haven't seen a gudgeon for the best part of 40 years. So if I get one of them on today, I'll be as made up as getting one of my carp on, I think. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with the little whip that I brought with me. It's only a 3-metre whip. But I'm only going to sort of dangle it out in front of me and just see what's out there. Really. So I had a little go on the whip, and would you believe it? I didn't catch just one. I caught two. 2 gudgeon. I know it doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but when I was growing up as a kid, they were all you caught. A couple of skimmers and a few roach. So they can all be popped back. So I've decided to have a little bit of a move to the other lake. The guy that was on it's now moved off, so I thought I was going to show you the other lake and do a bit of tipping on there. Really nice about these lakes as well is if you're a disabled angler, you are allowed to park behind certain swims and leave your car there. As long as you've got your blue badge, then you're allowed to park your car right next to your swim, which I think is really good. Second lake. I believe there to be some nice fish in here. I've had a few of them, upper doubles and 1 over 20. I've also had a catfish over 20, which I'm not planning on catching today. Let's see if we can winkle one of the carp out of here. Well, after walking all that gear around, it got so warm I had to take my jumper off. Very warm today, considering it's late October. So, as I said, I've moved on to the second lake. This is sort of the biggest part of the lake. There is another sort of like a kidney bowl shape with an island in the middle. The other side's a little bit smaller than this side. So, quiver tip back out, same paste around the stone, crave cut down 18mm squab. Just put it in the corner over there by those reeds. I have had fish out of there before when I've night fished here, so doesn't mean anything, but you know, I'll start where I know I've had fish before, and we'll just see how we get on. The fish are bigger in here, so they will go over 20, but I've only had 1 over 20 on the couple of visits I've been here, so I'm not expecting anything like that. But the sun's really made an appearance now, and I'm just hoping put a little bit of bait over that corner, and then see what happens. So I've just put the quiver tip out for the final time tonight. Probably got about 45 minutes left, I suppose, on this venue. As you can see, I've been joined by Pellet, the goose, just to make sure that I'm still here. The other lads that were who moved across to the other lake, they've now gone. So I think that's why Pellet's rejoined me, because there's no one else to try and nick some bait off. He's probably just coming around to see if I've dropped anything. On your Pellet. Been down here with the quiver tip, as you know, for the day. Had 2 carp out of the other lake, which I'm really pleased about, because if I'm brutally honest, I wasn't expecting to get anything. As it's my first go back on the quiver tip for over 20 years. Had a few fish on the whip as well, which I've never used before, which I've enjoyed as well. You know, some small silvers, the gudgeon, two little gudgeon, which I haven't seen in absolutely donkey's years. Not since I was a kid, so I was really pleased to get those. I know they're only 2 little gudgeon, probably don't mean anything to the majority of carp anglers, but if I'm honest, I think sometimes we forget all the species. It's not just the big carp out there. The small carp I had today was a stunner, absolute stunner. I do think sometimes we forget that sometimes it's about the quality of the fish, not the size of the one. Obviously, everybody wants to catch a big fish, but you know, the reality is the quality of that little common was outstanding today. This goose is the friendliest goose I've ever met in my life. On your Pellet. Yes. No aggro with you at all, is there? Coomewood Fishery, just outside of Ashford. I will put the links in the comments below of the address and how to get here. Alex is the guy that owns it and runs it. Really nice guy, but really helpful when you're out and about, you know, in your swim. He will pop round. He doesn't pester you. He just comes and takes your day ticket money. But he's quite happy to have a chat about his lake and how he set them up, and you know, some useful tactics. So I did appreciate that when he spoke to me this morning, because that did enable me to get those couple of carp. And maybe just one more would just top the day off. Just one. Not greedy. Just one. But if not, I've had a good day. And as I say, for £15 for 2 rods on a day ticket on a lake in Kent is pretty reasonable. In fact, it's more than pretty reasonable. There we have. Lovely mirror. Finished section just as I was packing up. And off it screamed. So just goes to show you can catch lovely carp on a 10-foot quiver tip rod using Palatrax product. Great days fishing down here at Coomewood Fishery in just outside Ashford. Why not come along? Wrecking day. Wrecking into the day. Let's get this one back.